So a few weeks ago I was browsing Kijiji when I came across this car, a 1997 Acura CL 2.2. It belongs to a brother of someone I used to go to school with, and I actually recognized the car as I used to see it around all the time, so I thought, why not? So I picked it up, and it needs a lot of work, but nothing I can't do. This car used to be somewhat of a show car, and the pictures I'm showing you now is what it used to look like about 10 years ago when it still had all the custom body parts on it. It has since succumbed to age, and some stuff is not there anymore. So what I'll be doing is returning it to its factory body, and I do eventually have plans to paint it. Anyways, on with the video. Alright, back working at the CL today. Here's what I got done yesterday. Just cleaned up some metal so I could dial it back enough so I can weld to something. Gotta clean up some of this, and then I'm gonna slip a piece underneath and make this all flush again. I'm still gonna grind just a little bit here. And I didn't touch the other side yet. Still need to do this. We'll get to that. But for now, I'm going to jack up the back of the car and get the other two tires off so I have more room to work back here. Okay, so the car is running right now because I also wanted to point this out. And sorry if it's hard to hear me. The car does have a little bit of an exhaust leak, which is, after looking, is right on the top of this gooch weld going into the catalytic converter. But before I found where it is, I'm not going to touch because now it's hot, but it's up there.
界を探索しなさい。お楽しみなさい。ドリームスウエスト。
It's the start of another new day. We're back working at the CL. We're going to get some more welding done. Last bit we were getting some of the body fill on. We got like the first round or so, but it's a bit too cold today to put body fill on, so we're just going to cut the welding instead, and tomorrow we should be able to put some body fill on because it's supposed to be warmer, but we kind of got hit by a cold snap, so I haven't been able to really put any body fill on. It doesn't quite work out right, I find, when it's too cold. I do have a space heater, but that can only help so much when it's like minus 20 Celsius. So today we're going to start by patching the floor, and we'll move on to probably getting the passenger side, and there's another hole I discovered on the driver's side, so I might try and do that as well before I completely move over to the passenger side. Alright, so here's a look at here's a look at the piece we need to fix. I still got to do some cutting. I've got to do something about that. There's pieces of the interior missing all over the place. I do not have any of the door pieces, sadly. Nor do I have the little pieces that go over that. But since this is all basically just an Accord coupe, once you get down to the brass tacks of it, I can find those later. So we've got to cut in probably till about there, if not further. Might have to pull this carpet up. Should be alright. And we've got to start cleaning up some metal and getting ready to weld. And I already have a piece that I'm going to use. Now this is a bit big, but we'll make this work. Like I said, this car came with lots of extra metal, so I don't need to spend any money on metal, which is a big bonus. Alright, there's the finished floor patch. I had to make a second one there because I found more rust. Let's give her the old foot test. Yep, perfect. So I'm just going to clean up some of the dirt from this and put some seam seal on and put some paint on it. Alright, so here's the patch in the floor all done. I've got some rust check white on there because that's all I had on hand, but it's good rust check paint. I really like this stuff. It holds up really good to water, so this should be fine. This is what I used for seam sealer. It is actually roofing tar. This stuff is awesome for cars because it is made to repel water, and once it gets solid, which takes a little while, like it's still soft, but you can paint on it. It will absorb quite a bit of it, but it's really good for repelling water, so I just put it where I needed it, and I'll do the same thing on the bottom later on. And I don't think we're going to do anything about this side of the car today. There's still some stuff I'd like to, like all this crap. There's still some cleaning up I'd like to do to get it right and ready for new metal. So I think for the rest of the time I have today, we're just going to turn our attention back to these patches and continue sanding because they're not quite even yet. And I want to get this even before I do another coat of body fill. But no body fill today. It's just too cold in here to body fill. I find it doesn't stick right when it's cold. I'll do that tomorrow. It's supposed to be nice out tomorrow. Okay, so I've just been sanding this back, and I've got it to 220 grit. And that's good enough for now. It's nice and smooth. It's pretty flush with the body. There's still a couple things like here and there, but right now it's good enough. And when I come back and repaint this whole car, I will be touching this up. But as it is right now, I'm okay with it. I'm going to wipe this down and put some paint on it. Alright, so here's what I painted yesterday. It looks a little smoother. There's a couple runs. I didn't really care about this looking good because this is going to be gone over again in the summer when this car gets repainted. This is just to protect it. So here's everything that was welded up here. So I'm going to start grinding this back and put some body fill on. Gotta grind some of this back too. This one I don't really care how it looks because this gets covered up. And then we gotta turn our attention back down there after a bit. Okay, this body fill's all dry, and down here all the welding is done, and I had to put a little patch in there, so I'm going to get started on putting some body fill in here after I grind down these welds. Okay, so was going to like take the exhaust off from this 2-to-1 header piece, the bottom bit. Every bolt is stripped, and I'm tired of fighting it. So I did a temporary fix. I took some high-strength JB Weld and just went over the hole. And at some point, this header and everything will go because it has one of these ricer exhausts on it. So probably only thing I'll keep is the catalytic converter. But yeah, we're going to get rid of all this and go back to stock eventually.
The motherfucking world is a ghetto, full of magazines, full clips, and heavy metal when the smoke settles. I'm just looking for a big yellow. In 6-inch stilettos, Dr. Dre. Hello. Percolating, keep 'em waiting while you sitting there hating. Your bitch is hyperventilating, hoping that we penetrating. You get snating, cause I never been to Satan. For hardcore administrating, gangbang affiliating. MC Winner had you wildin' off a zone and a whole half a gallon. Get the dialing, 911 emergency. You can tell him, it's my son, he's hurting me, and he's a felon. On parole for robbery, ain't no copping a plea. Ain't no stopping a G. I'm in the 6, you got to hop in the 3. Company monopoly, you handle shit sloppily. I drop a key properly.